Hey, what's up, everybody? I'm gonna come in at y'all with what I like to call um, another edition of F Around and Find Out. This is episode 2 of F Around and Find Out, and today we're gonna be talking about this student loan mess. Let's get into it.
I wish I would have had this when I was still working the road. This is a flexible armor, but it will stop rifle rounds, and we're going to test that out today. Alrighty then. I highly doubt the pistol round's going to make it through it, even with it being damaged, but we're going to try anyways.
And shout out to Lovely T for this, by the way.
Hey T Sippers, I hope you guys are doing good today, and welcome to another episode of Count Your Days.
Count your fucking days, bitch.
Yes, they better count their days, bitch, okay? I know some of y'all are probably thinking I'm about to drag Popeyes because of what I went through the other day, but child, this is not about Popeyes. But before I get to who's gonna get drugged today on Count Your Days, let me tell you about my Popeyes experience, okay? So the other day I was coming from the hospital, and so, I wanted something to eat because I was kind of hungry. So I said, let me stop off at Popeyes, get some red beans and rice. That's it, that's all. So I get up in the drive-thru, and the lady was like, do you want a large or small? Just a small, just a small cup of red beans and rice. They don't put too much in there. And the lady proceeds to tell me, okay, pull up to the front. The price is $4.89. Girl? I'm like, hold up, what do you mean $4.89? This same red beans and rice used to be $1.99. And she's like, it's $4.89. Mind you, I didn't get no chicken because I don't eat chicken. Didn't get no fries, didn't get no drink. They wanted $4.89 for a small cup of red beans and rice. Bitch, I pulled off like 50 cents in that meme. Okay? Skirt off. Popeyes, child, y'all better count your days. I might have to drag them in the next one. Let me know if y'all want me to do a Popeyes count your days, because I think a lot of people have been complaining. I was shocked when I posted in Discord how many people had complaints about Popeyes and their price increases. Y'all got me messed up. I'll be damned if I pay $5.
Proof that the tariffs are a motherfucker.
For a small cup of red beans and rice, bitch. Not when I could buy a whole thing of rice and a whole bag of beans for under $2. Okay?
Count your fucking days, bitch.
So that was my rant about Popeyes.
If it's still under $2. Again, if it's under $2. Again, the tariffs are are screwing up everything.
And their shady price increases. So now, let's go ahead and talk about who we're going to be dragging in this week's episode of Contra Days, okay? So if you guys do not know, honey, social media is in an uproar. Our press secretary child, Carolyn Levitt, came out and basically said if you have student loan debt, they are not giving any more forbearance. They're unfreezing it. If you guys don't know, it's been frozen since the Biden administration, since COVID. So a lot of people have not paid on their student loans in 5 years. And Carolyn Levitt said if you don't set up payment and start paying your student loans back, we're going to start garnishing your wages starting May 5th. They're going to garnish wages. They're going to take your taxes when you file your income taxes. They're not playing. They said they want their damn money, and they want their money now, okay? So a lot of people are talking about this on social media. So we're going to go ahead and watch some of these clips. But let's start with Carolyn Levitt and what she had to say about the whole student loan situation.
The Trump administration has announced we will put an end to Joe Biden's illegal student loan bailout attempts. No student loan has been referred to collection since March of 2020. That comes to an end. On May 5th, the Department of Education will resume involuntary collections for borrowers with defaulted federal student loans. The student loan portfolio controlled by the federal government is nearly $1.6 trillion. But fewer than 4 out of 10 borrowers are in repayment. This is unsustainable, unfair, and a huge liability for American taxpayers. Debt cannot be wiped away. It just ends up getting transferred to others. So why should Americans who didn't go to college or went to college and responsibly paid back their loans pay for the student loans of other Americans? The Trump administration will never force taxpayers to pay student loan debts that don't belong to them. Student loan borrowers need clarity, and we're finally giving it to them. Borrowers will now be clearly expected to repay their loans, and those who default on their loan obligations will face involuntary collections. The government can and will collect defaulted federal student loan debt by withholding money from borrowers, tax rebates, federal pensions, and their wages. America is $36 trillion in debt. We must get our fiscal house in order and restore common sense to our country. If you take out a loan, you have to pay it back. It's very simple.
Honey, okay. So tell me America's going broke without telling me that America's going broke. The fact that they're going this hard to make people pay back their student loans, it says a lot. They're willing to garnish wages. They're willing to take back your income tax refund. They are not playing. They're saying if you went to school and you took out a loan, you must pay it back. You know what I'm saying? So this has caused a great debate on social media. A lot of people, feel like, hey, I'm not even getting my degree. This is not fair. I ain't got it. Other people are saying, nah, you need to pay back this money. So we're going to watch a wide range of reactions to what Carolyn Lovitz and the Trump administration has put out concerning the student loan and wage garnishments.
I don't think you guys are hearing me. I don't think you guys are hearing me. I just saw somebody say they owe $330,000 in student loans.
Why would you borrow that much? Why would you borrow that much?
I don't even use the degree I went to school for. So I was never paying back no student loans. Once I use my degree and my 9 to 5, then we can talk. We're not talking. I've been graduated from.
Ma'am, whether you like it or not, you borrow the money, pay up. The end.
Since 2019, and I'm still not using the degree I went to college for. I already forgave myself for my student loans. So personally, I didn't need you guys to forgive. In my head.
This right here is the fastest, most powerful Wi-Fi I've ever used. So I recently just upgraded to the Orbi 970 series Wi-Fi 7 mesh system, and it transformed my home Wi-Fi experience. It features speeds up to...
I didn't need you guys to forgive me. In my head, $0 owed.
The bottom of my casket will have a file cabinet for all these student loans to rest in heavenly peace. How much I owe in student loans? Much money? I owe in student loans. Now let me provide you with some additional information, since I know that this video is going to go viral because people are cool and a lot of people are going to be ready to attack me in the comments and judge me and do whatever they got to do to feel good about themselves. I am a proud 25-year-old with over $100,000 in student loan debt. I went to school. I got a free associate degree through the early college program. I then furthered my education and got 2 additional degrees. I have a bachelor's degree in entrepreneurship with a minor in management, and I have a master's degree in organizational leadership. But one thing America doesn't know
What's that mean?
one additional degree that's not on file and it's not in the records anywhere, and that's a law degree. At any given point, I'm prepared to take the stand and explain why I cannot afford to pay a down payment to the loan. Maybe you ain't never seen a sharp, undegreed attorney like me ever in your life. It's my time to shine.
Not me entering my final stage of full-blown rash out. I'm literally crashing out. I was so excited for tonight. Oh my god, I'm so worked up. I was gonna get dressed up. I mean, I still am. I'm definitely getting a martini now. Last week, I fucking hate student loans. Last month, I set up auto pay because I don't want to forget. I don't like being late. You can never get on the phone with these stupid student loan people. And I log on today because I do my fucking tax documents. Fuck my life. Life never ends. I'm like, oh my god, it says my payment's late. And I'm like, how does that even make sense? I set up auto pay last month with my card and my bank and all the stupid information. And then I call them today and they're like, it's gonna be a 3-hour and 50-minute wait time. And then I'm trying to have dad help me and I'm like, why did you guys have me set up auto pay for that if my payments are now late? And I'm like, I'm not crashing out over Mahima. You're ugly. I don't have time for this. I'm crying over a fucking stupid student loan.
Somebody's watching me. It's my anxiety.
So as you see, this person owes $274,000 in student loan. The interest alone is $73,000.
Ooh.
That is insane.
Why did we take out student loans, he asked. Because we were 17 and stupid, and the adults
Yep,
in our life that we
basically.
trusted paid $10,000 for college and told us that we could pay it off with a summer job and it was a good investment. Now I've got a couple fancy pieces of paper. I'm $80,000 in debt, make $35,000 a year. Thanks.
All of you guys getting on here and acting like people complaining about the student loans are stupid or ridiculous need to get a fucking grip, because most of the people I'm seeing complaining about it are people that think it should have been wiped free. They're people that think that the interest rates for a 18, 19-year-old or just in general should not be what they are. I'm seeing people's loans double, triple what they were, and they've been paying for 25 years. That's not sustainable. That's fucked up. Anybody who doesn't think that's fucked up needs to get a fucking grip. The other thing that I think people are forgetting is how bleak things already are for like a lot of people, and then you add that they're making these payments unsustainable. In my personal opinion, I think no matter what the fucking debt is, whatever you can afford, as long as you're paying on it, it should not be able to be sent to collection. I also don't think it should be up to a debt collector how much your monthly payments are. That is fucking crazy and wild to me. They don't know your fucking in and outs of your day. They don't know what your bills are. Like, are you kidding me? Again, I'm not saying they shouldn't pay it back. I'm saying a big ass company with no fucks to give should not get to decide the minimum payment that you make monthly on a debt you owe. As long as you're making a payment, I don't give a fuck if it's $5 fucking dollars. It's your payment. Who cares? Then shut the fuck up. If you have student loans, then listen up, because credit scores are about to start taking huge hits. So here's what's going on. The New York Fed just posted a report saying that 9 million people are going to be affected by this, because there's 9 million people that are either behind or in a default status. And so for the first time, they're going to start affecting credit since the pandemic. So during COVID, there was a pause and lenders were not allowed to report late payments on the credit report. But that ended last September, and so now people are more than 90 days late, and that is now being reported to the credit bureaus, which is now affecting their credit. So this is a chart showing how one single late payment can affect your credit. If your credit is less than 620, that's minus 87 points. 620, that's 59, 43.7.
There we go.
So obviously, the higher your credit is, the more you are going to get deducted. 760 or higher, 171 points. One single late payment can destroy a credit report. So our new government, can't say names, but I want my video get flagged, is expected to restart the collection process and default on a lot of these loans. So that means that they can garnish your wages, take from your tax returns, or take from your social security checks if it gets that far. And also, oh my God, huge news, they are moving the student loans out of the Department of Education and over to the Small Business Administration, so the SBA. And there's been a lot of glitches, a lot of system errors, and all this chaos that's been happening with that transition. If you have student loans, check your account and then check your credit report as well.
So it's getting real. They're going to start reporting it to the credit bureau, and this can really affect you. And again, we're living in a time and space where it's hard right now to get into apartments, to get loans, and everything else. So you need your credit to be on point. So they're really going full force with this student loan payback situation.
I'm pissed the fuck off because why the fuck I wake up to my credit score almost gone down 100 motherfucking points because of you bitches reporting some motherfucking student loans. Bitch, I didn't even attend a school with that motherfucking loan, didn't even get no fucking money. Yes, I'm pissed off. If I would have got the money, then I probably would have been as pissed as I am. But bitch, I didn't get a fuck thing from you all. And y'all still put that shit on my motherfucking credit. So I still gotta deal with the motherfucking consequences. Bitch, if that was the case, I should just stay there and get out y'all motherfucking funds. My dumb ass leaving for a motherfucking reason, thinking that they ain't gonna put the shit on my motherfucking credit because I ain't the money. Y'all still put the shit on there, so I gotta wake up to my motherfucking credit score going down the motherfucking hill. Bitch, it look like my shit that got beat the fuck up this morning. I just can't be the only one. I know y'all getting on this. I just want to know, is anybody else woke up to their credit score just going down the motherfucking, like, just going the fuck down, bitch? And I'm big on motherfucking credit. I don't play about my motherfucking credit. And for y'all to do that fuck ass motherfucking shit, bitch, I'm coming for motherfucking. I'm mad. I'm pissed. Angry.
Democrats, y'all trying to do this shit. So I feel like, how could you do that? This is why the welfare system is the way it is now, because you got too many people trying to scam the system. People like the single mothers and people like the homelessness and the disabled really needs the welfare system, the housing, the Medicaid, and the food stamps, and the children. These motherfucking college students and these motherfucker, the ABC people who's on here talking about something. I'm gonna keep the family and my stuff. My shit gonna be deferred to 2033, 2085. Like, just pay your shit back. I wasn't raised like that. When you borrow some money, you're not supposed to go around and not pay.
Nah, crap. Hold on, y'all.
You're not supposed to go around and not pay that. They're talking about some, they gonna garnish our wages. Respectfully, he has a right to garnish your wages. How can you borrow money from the government and not pay a dime of that money back? That's diabolical to me. If you can't afford to pay people back, to pay the government back, don't fucking borrow money. You get all this education, what? To work like a slave and still struggling and be alive? You're only alive? What's the point? Go to trade school, do something. They last
Fact.
talking about some, ain't I'm finna be a doctor, I'm finna go to school, get my attorney.
It's cheaper go to trade school. Go to trade school.
To pay your student loans back, and you still trying to borrow more from the government? You getting your shit, you putting yourself deeper in the hole, my nigga. Don't do that. I want to allow my kids to borrow from the government. I want to allow that. This the Democrats. This the Democrat people, y'all. Respectfully, I'm with Donald Trump. Garnish the motherfucker wages. Because now, they talking about scamming the welfare system so they can keep getting their student loans deferred. It's gonna make the welfare system harder for single parents. We already can't afford to play daycare. So why do you keep trying to make this shit work for us? Donald Trump, I hope you see your shit. We got a lot of homelessness and single mothers out here who need that welfare system. Just pay your student loans, man. Pay that shit back. Even if you gotta be on a payroll or something. Pay that shit back, nigga.
So she's definitely feeling the way she wants folks to pay back their student loan. Now, I don't think this is a Democrat or Republican issue because you have people on both sides of the aisle, you know, who take out student loans and get into student loan debt. But I agree with her wholeheartedly. I will not allow my children to take anything from the government, to take any type of student loan debt out. That just wasn't an option here. But we'll talk about that later on in the video. We're going to go ahead and watch some more clips.
Donald Trump wants to garnish your wages in 2 weeks on May 5th if you are behind on your student loan payments. More specifically, if you are 270 days behind.
Oh no, a loan that you took out that you have to pay back. Who ever thought that day would come?
This comment section is getting absolutely flooded with comments like this. Like, you got a student loan, just pay it fucking back.
Now
Most
pay
people
it.
signed up for these loans when they were 18 years old. They did not understand the impacts it was going to have on their life, how expensive college was going to be, how much debt they were going to get into.
If a lot of these 18-year-old kids took a loan out without realizing how expensive college is, or is going to be, and you can't pay that back, you shouldn't have took the loan out. When you take out a loan from somewhere, whether it's a bank or whatever it is, that money is loaned to you. So why it's a loan, you have to pay that back. Whether it's for a vehicle, a home, student loans, that money is loaned to you. You have to pay that back. Look, I never went to college, never got a student loan. The only loan I ever got was to purchase a vehicle from my bank. And guess what? I paid that back. The responsibility fell on me alone, to pay that loan back.
Facts.
A lot of places will work with you.
Yeah.
Just to, you can pay it back.
Long as you stay paying, they'll work with you.
I had options. My options were they could either take it out of my account automatically once a month, or I I could just pay it myself. Once a month, I could pay the minimum. Now, because I just wanted her to pay off the loan and get rid of it. Less
Yeah,
headache for me.
exactly.
It's all part of adulthood. Paying your bills. Shit, did I want to fucking pay the loan back? Was I struggling? Yes, but I paid it back. It's not hard. I think I liked paying like $145 every month. I would overpay, so it was like almost like $300 every month. But that was my choice. But still, you think I wanted to pay that back? No, but I did. It's taking responsibility for your actions and paying off your debts. Welcome to adulthood.
Okay. I'm just curious, and it's been like baffling me a little bit over the years. Why do people that have student loan debt feel like they shouldn't have to pay that back? I'm just like very confused by that notion. If I take out a personal loan tomorrow, I can't decide in 6 months. I shouldn't have to pay that. I just don't understand where that entitlement mindset comes from. So if you feel like you shouldn't have to pay your student loan debt back, let me know why you feel like that down below. Thanks.
After being out of school for 4 years, you mean to tell me y'all finna go into my check? Those loans been in deferment for 4 years, and I plan on keeping them in deferment. I ain't got it. I owe over $100,000 in student loans. You really think you finna get that money back? I can't even spare 1% of my money to pay you this money back. When I say they was talking about garnishing our wages and I get direct deposit, I almost went to my job and told them, baby, just mail me a check from that. I'm gonna be sick if I'm waiting on a direct deposit from my job in the amount of $1,000. And I check my account, it's negative $2,000. You know how long it's gonna take me to pay back $150K in student loans? At this point, I regret even going to school for shit. I ain't even used the degree. I got a bachelor's in biology and I got a master's in secondary education. At this point, let me just go back to school. Go ahead run my credit. I ain't had it then when you first approved me for the loan. I ain't got it then while you trying to get this money back. Yeah, tell me what I need to do to dismiss these loans off my credit report, please. Who got the power to wipe them out? Because at this point, I'm tired. It's so many people trolling in the comments that I know I don't have nothing to prove y'all, but let's get into it. Yes, I owe over $150 in student loans. No, I'm not working with my degree. Yes, I have 2 of them. Yes, I graduated from Alcorn State University in 2015. I have a bachelor's in biology with a concentration in health science. Yes, I graduated with my master's degree from Alcorn State University in 2021. Yes, I have a master's in secondary education with an endorsement in clinical mental health counseling. Yes, I told clear. I am from Mississippi and I do sound country. If you don't like it, keep scrolling. Yes, I am married. My husband don't care about my student loans and I don't care about my student loans. Will I eventually pay them? Yes, I will. Am I going to pay them today? No. They are in deferment. Did I plan on using my degrees? Yes, I did. But I have kids. And like I said before, my kids come first. So if I can accommodate their schedule, I will because I care about my kids. I care about seeing my kids grow. Will I ever work in my field? I don't know. I love my job now. And I was trolling, but I do know how wage garnishment works. I don't have to worry about those student loans.
Ma'am, the government does not care. All they want is their money. In the words of Rihanna, bitch better have my money. The end. That's all the government cares about is their money. That's it, and that's all.
I get a letter in the mail every month and I don't have to pay anything. It says $0. How y'all mad at me because I owe student loans? You ain't gotta pay them back. You ain't the one that went to school. It ain't on your credit report. I'm the one that should be mad. I pay bills every month. Groceries steady going up. Bills steady going up. Only thing I'm worried about right now is
Whoop-de-doo, ma'am. And that's life.
my bills being paid. I'm fixing up my house. And my car note getting paid. And it's crazy because all of us be wanting to go viral or get more views than normal. But when I tell y'all these people be trolling, like I'm really on the wrong side of TikTok. The comments are taking me, but I'm not mad. I'm laughing at y'all. Keep sharing it, keep commenting. Y'all shit talkers are going to help me pay my loans out one of these days.
Now she's funny. It's funny that people are asking her just simply because of her country accent, which I love. Is she married? if she got a man. Like, what does that have to do with her student loans? And like she said, at the end of the day, her loans are her loans. They really don't affect me. It affects her credit and her well-being and her mental health. But a lot of people are really mad at folks who are online saying that they're not going to pay back their student loans. TikTok has been on fire. The comment sections have been crazy. People have been dragging folks. So that's why she came back with a part 2 video to address the haters.
I am honestly glad that they coming after y'all fucking college students for this loan money. There's no way y'all was easily manipulated into believing that you don't have to pay a loan back. There is no such thing as a fucking loan forgiveness, in my opinion. Joe Biden played with y'all head for all that time. Y'all fool. Now y'all mad that Trump is coming to collect the funds. Most of y'all can't even find jobs under the degree that y'all got. So that's just money gone out of taxpayers' money. After all this, you get me?
So I just saw this TikTok of this lady saying that she saw a TikTok of this little white girl crying about her student loans and how she just been paying them or whatever. Who? Baby, them student loans is going to the grave with me, okay? Student loan, who? Baby, if I didn't get a job that was going to repay them student loans, God paid it all, okay? I ain't worried about it. God got me. Them student loans going to be right with me when that pastor say ashes to ashes, dust to dust, and they gon' go on and put the little birds in the air for me and my student loans. And that's that on. They should have known when they gave me that loan that I wasn't gonna make a payment on it, baby. They seen my credit. They seen my credit when I got the student loans to go to college. They already knew. A student loan can kiss my ass. Sally Mae, Nambient, all of that can go to hell. Don't even look my way. Don't dial my number. Finna be crying over a student loan. Who? I'm not even a student anymore, Boogie. That don't belong to me. That ain't got nothing to do with me. That ain't none of my business. I'm not a student. I'm an adult now. Didn't Biden say he was gonna get rid of the student loans anyway? Y'all need to call him. He trying to jump ship before he said he was gonna do what he was gonna do. These student loans want a payment from me, they gonna have to contact Biden. Joseph Biden is his full name. He's the one that's gonna handle the student loans from here on out. I ain't got nothing to do with it. Y'all gave me a loan equaling hundreds of thousands of dollars, and y'all seen what I went to college for, and y'all knew that career was not gonna repay these damn student loans. That was y'all fault for giving it to me. Y'all should have a much better judge of character and majors when it comes to this college career. Who knew I wasn't gonna be able to pay that loan on this teaching degree? You knew that. I said, Nabby and Sally Mae, get off my back. Get off my job.
She's funny. She has no fucks about her student loans. She has no plans to repay nothing back. She says she's gonna continue living her best life till the end of her days, child.
There's no way that you're upset that you have to pay a loan back that you signed up for. Nobody held your hand and forced you to sign on the dotted line after you agreed to the terms and conditions. You're mad because you believed that the liars from the last administration that we're going to forgive you of those loans. That's why you're mad. They promise. We're gonna get rid of them. We're gonna forgive. Bitch, you're the one who signed up for them. You went to the bank or the institution or whatever and said, I need this loan. I'm gonna sign my life away for it. You probably didn't read the fine print. And you've had, like, it was frozen in 2020. You've had 5 fucking years to think about this. Don't give me the, oh, we only have 2 weeks to get our life together. You've had 5 fucking years. If you make poor decisions like that, you might as well just sign up for a little OF and start selling the photos, bitch. Because that's real life. Be an adult. Pull your little panties up and get to work. That you're upset that you have to pay a loan back that you signed up for. Nobody held your hand and forced you to sign on the dotted.
So you are absolutely right that there is nobody holding somebody's hand telling them that they have to sign on this dotted line, but you also have to realize that there's also nobody holding a teenager's hand while they are in the middle of a computer lab signing up for those student loans, telling them exactly how predatory they are. It's something like 11% of all federal student loan applicants are under the age of 18. So I was a fresh 17 and my friends were 16. Nobody held our hands and told us that there are many people that take out 30 grand in student loans, and by the time they pay that debt back, they owe another 30 grand in interest. And I just want to paint you guys a picture really quickly. I grew up in foster care, and I was born to a single mother of 4 who who struggled with addiction, and we were always in poverty. Poverty to the point where we didn't know where our next meal was coming from, our utilities were often shut off, we were getting evicted from every place we lived at, and that was if we had a home. A lot of the times we were couch surfing. My mother's credit score was absolute dog shit, so there was no way she was getting loans, there was no way she was getting credit cards, and actually, funny story, a friend of hers got a hold of my information. I don't know if my mother sold it to her or if this woman, just happened upon it in my mom's wallet, don't know. But anyways, she got my social security card information, and I became a victim of fraud at the ripe age of God knows when. But all I know is when I was 18 years old and went to go apply for a credit card, my credit score was 330.
Horrible.
So anyways, obviously, I did not grow up knowing very much about credit and interest rates and things like that. And then when I went into foster care, my foster parents actually encouraged me to apply for student loans because they weren't paying for my college. And the shittier part about it is that when you're in foster care, because you're a ward of the state, there's a lot of rules and regulations put on you. So I was not allowed to drive or even get my license until my foster parents took custody of me. And there's also a lot of rules and regulations on when and where and how you can work. But when you age out, you are on your own. I literally got nothing from the foster care system. Now, luckily, I was academically gifted, so I was able to qualify for many scholarships, but that did not pay for all of my college. And so, unfortunately, student loans were the only option for me. And this is the case for many people. But again, when you don't start out with privilege or you start in a place where you have to take student loans, it's very, very difficult to get out of that cycle. And the only reason that I didn't owe more than I did, which mind you was like 10 grand, it wasn't very much at all because I worked full time while I was going to college. The only reason I didn't end up owing more than I did was because I didn't go for the full 4 years. Now, I am not advocating for student loan forgiveness because, again, my reality is not the reality of many other people, and there are people that take out loans frivolously. However, I am advocating for there to be more education surrounding student loans, as well as interest rates that aren't so predatory that you end up paying double what you owed in the first place, if you ever even get to pay it off. All in all, I wanted to make this video just to say that it is crazy to me to see somebody speak and to see so many people speak with such little empathy and compassion for people and with such vitriol and animosity towards a population of people that literally didn't have a chance to know better, that you would advise young women to get onto OnlyFans and sell nude photos of themselves to pay back loans that they didn't understand were dangerous in the first place. That is baffling behavior, to be honest. And all I have to say is that if you have such a privileged and skewed view of the world that you would come on the internet to say something like that, you are lucky.
Really can't believe it's people in the comments of this student loan situation talking about some, yeah, this is how the world works. You borrow money, you pay it back. Shut your stupid ass up. A fucking school loan ain't the same as an auto loan or a home loan or a personal loan, you damn idiot.
A loan is a loan, you dummy.
Black people, minorities especially, had to go to school. We ain't left shit. We had to go to school. I had no choice but to go to damn school. And then when I went to school, it wasn't like I'm working for my damn self now. I'm making money for other people. And the money gets taxed. This shit is all going back into the hand. It's like a big ass circle, and y'all fail to realize that. Your fucking credit score is made the fuck up. That's a made up shit. Money made the fuck up. This is a system. America is a system. I'm confused at how the hell y'all still don't realize this shit. Then on top of that, y'all ain't even willing to try to make reasonable payment plans. Y'all ain't even trying to do like $100 a month. Y'all want the whole shit. Y'all want $2,000 a month on a goddamn degree that people ain't even using. When I got out of school, I couldn't even use my degree right away. They wanted 100 years of experience. Like, what the fuck? Y'all garnish my wages. I'm garnishing my damn job. Period. I get energy siphoned daily. Restraining myself from having to do the computer and choking people out daily. And I've been doing this shit since I've been 16. I've been working in America since I've been 16 and ain't got too much shit to show for it other than the standard American properties. So, bitch, if you disagree with whatever I say, you can do the hokey pokey, turn your ass around, lick your own ass, and burn in hell, bitch. I don't know if I've had too many magical chocolates, but I'm gonna need y'all to really wrap your mind around what we're really in. Because y'all are sick.
Y'all better call on people about y'all student loans. I'm not here to tell y'all that you should not take the advice from the people on the internet. But how you gonna take advice from somebody that you can't verify and that you've never actually physically seen or talked to in person? I'll be completely honest, my loan got lost in the sauce. Most people's student loans went into forbearance because of everything that was going on with COVID. And I'll be completely honest, I kind of almost forgot about my loan up until I saw all the stuff that was going on with them possibly garnishing people's wages, and I was like, that is not going to be me. So this morning, when I went to go check on my loan, I found out today that it actually had been sent to another provider. So I had to create a whole nother login, a whole nother account. But to make a long story short, I was able to bring my account current. I didn't even know that I was actually in default because I had moved out of state and I hadn't gotten any paperwork. I hadn't gotten any emails from any of my loan providers. It only took me about an hour to create the account, pull up all my loans, update all my contact information, and to reestablish my payments. Y'all been calling people. Y'all been calling people, or they gonna hit you in your pockets directly. That's it, that's all.
Student loan conversation is so deeply unserious because the United States pays for free education in other countries, and by other countries I mean Israel. Why is it that our country even funds and subsidizes their education so most public institutions over there are free, damn near free, or extremely affordable, but we have to pay an arm and a motherfucking leg?
That's because in America, education, unfortunately, is a business. Whether people like it or not. Whether people like it or not, education, like healthcare, is a business in America. The end.
Two, why is it that our education is so expensive? What countries do you know who care about their citizens makes education so far out of reach for the average person? What are you trying to do? Are you trying to create a slave force? Because that's what it pretty much gives. You have people in debt for the rest of their lives. That brings me to fucking 3. Okay? These interest rates on these student loans are so astronomically high that they are impossible to pay back for the average person. You can set your payments and pay on time for years and still wind up owing more. There are people who have said that they have paid their student loans on time for years and still owe around the same amount of the initial fucking loan. That is predatory. It's unregulated. In fact, I don't even have a problem if I do have to pay back my student loans. Why is the interest rate so fucking high? That's predatory. It's impossible. And I think like it's so ridiculous that so many people who haven't gotten educations or like higher educations and people who haven't gone to college or who don't have loans, that they're so adamant and like trying to make people suffer. It's weird. And you are also putting yourself in the crosshairs. Like literally, what the hell?
Do you have some pudge that just won't budge? Check this out. This is an insulin spiker. This is an insulin spiker. This.
As of May 5th, they're taking 15% of your wages towards student loans.
Wait, you mean the money that you agreed to pay back, you are now surprised that they're coming after you for it? Okay.
Y'all, I've been ignoring student loans since I've been in school.
Well, there goes your first problem. Instead of ignoring the problem that you have, how about you try to find a solution? You should have been making plans to pay the money back. But more than...
Come on.
More than likely you went to school for a degree that wasn't going to give you shit. And you racked up a shitload of student loan debt.
If y'all know how much I owe in student loan, y'all would think I went to school to be a lawyer. And it's a degree that wasn't even providing me a decent lifestyle. I was just living off vibe.
And here's something I don't get. Some of y'all women are going to college for degrees that does not benefit society. If you're going to get a degree, make sure you can use it.
What the hell does that even mean, you were living off vibes? You went to school for something. You took out a loan that you promised to pay back. This is where you are supposed to be the smart one and put yourself in a position where you can get a career after you get out of school, pay the loan back, and live a good life.
But you were living off the vibes, whatever the fuck that means. It just sounds like you were a very irresponsible person.
It does.
And the consequences of your actions are coming to bite you in your fucking ass. And
Fact.
you don't like it.
Pay back your student loans. Pay back your student loans. It's your responsibility. You took them out. It's your responsibility. Do you realize how dumb y'all sound? Most of the people who took out student loans were about 17, 18, basically getting coerced into taking these loans out because they were told this is what they were supposed to do in order to have a better life. All right. Most of the people who took out these student loans literally were groomed from the time when they were small kids to the time they tried to get into college and told that this was the path. This is what you needed to do. It would all be worth it. And a lot of people who listened to that, took out the loans, got them degrees and everything else, now them degrees are worthless.
Honestly, maybe they should start taking money from your paychecks and your refunds to pay back your student loans. Nobody forced y'all to go to college.
Maybe you should have got off your mama's couch, but nobody is questioning your decisions that you made in life. And those of you guys who are wondering why it's so difficult for people to pay their student loans back, how about I break it down for you right now? Imagine being 17 and 18 years old, going into college and getting forced to take out a student loan because you were told that in order to make it in life, you have to better yourself by going to school and getting an education. When you go get that education and now you're landing the job and you get the job and then they tell you you need 5 to 10 years of experience to then work this job. And oh, by the way, we're going to pay you minimum wage, damn near the same amount you would make if you did not go to school. So now you're an educator, can barely pay your bills, can barely pay to put food on your table, and now you have to pay back student loans that they told you to go to school for so you can have an education, just for your education to slap you in the face and tell you that your education is not enough, and actually you need years of experience, and then we're going to also pay you minimum wage. If you needed to know why people are struggling to pay their student loans, ask yourself this question. Why would anyone give a loan? Why would anyone give an $80,000 loan to a 17, 18-year-old who has no credit history and tells them that they need to pay it back? And oh, sure, let's blame the parents who can barely afford to get their kids in school, but they're doing everything they can. But yet it is not enough. And then you ask yourself, why is it so many people that are paying their loans and why they're not paying their bill? No one told them to get an education. No one told you to sit on your ass and stay at home and eat fucking pizza every day. No. We did what we needed to do so that way your kids can have somewhere to go to school. So that way your kids can have someone to teach them. So that way your kids have a nurse that can take care of them. So that way if something breaks down in your house, somebody can come fix it. People can barely afford to pay for their groceries. The decisions people made when they were 17, 18, 19, they thought they were bettering themselves. They thought that they could pay for their loans. And quite frankly, putting those type of responsibility in a child's hand who just graduated high school is wild. Meanwhile, shoving down their throat the importance of education and how if you don't get an education, you cannot get a job to take care of your family. But yet that same education is not paying for you to take care of your family. And you're wondering why people are struggling. Instead of getting on this internet and blaming people for taking out a loan, why not understand?
She said a whole word. She said a word. She went in. Ooh-wee. It's getting real on TikTok.
I just saw a post from a creator that quite pissed me the fuck off. She's going on a rant about the student loan payback and everybody being so upset about it and how we should have got our lives together years ago instead of waiting for the last 2 weeks before this all takes place. But then proceeds to say, oh, well, you guys also signed on the dotted line. No one forced your hand. You agreed to pay this back. You're right. We did sign on the dotted line, but the economy was different 20 years ago. Eggs weren't $13 for 30 eggs. Gas wasn't high. Rent wasn't high. The cost of living in general wasn't high, so people could make the payments back. Everybody's been in forbearance probably for 6 or 7 years at this point. I know mine has been in for quite a while because who has the fucking money to do that? But also, I blame our parents. I blame our parents and I blame society all those years ago because they told us, if you don't go to college, you're not going to be nothing. If you don't go to college and get an education, you can't get a good job. If you don't go to college
and I want to say this too. You don't have to go to a 4-year college. Trade school and a 2-year college are also great options. Just saying.
Make something of yourself. ever gonna find a good husband, or you're not ever gonna find a good wife, or you're not ever gonna be anything other than working at McDonald's. Fucking lies. If I knew what I knew now, I would have never fucking went to college, and I would have never taken those loans out. Period.
All right, Tea Sipper. So it's a lot to unpack, and I get both sides. Because if this was a home loan or an auto loan, you'd have to pay it back. If not, your car would get repossessed and your home would go into foreclosure. This whole student loan thing is very interesting. Now, let me kind of give you my backstory, okay? I never went to like a 4-year college. I got pregnant summer senior year. So for me, I had to go and take care of my son. But like a lot of my other family members and friends, they all went to like 4-year colleges. And so as I'm raising my child with my ex-husband and we're just, working and trying to make ends meet, I would hear about people, once they graduated college having to pay all this student loan back and the interest rates and things like that. And I remember like my mom always telling me like, okay, even though you had a kid, still go back to college, go get your education and everything else. But for me, I just felt it in my spirit. And this was before I was woke or woke was even a word. I just felt it was weird. Like, what am I getting student loans for? Because I couldn't afford college. Why am I taking on loans to go to school that I have to pay back? I just wasn't interested in that. When I'm literally working corporate, at the time I was working at City Financial, and what I noticed is I'm working at a job, and and I had a high school diploma, and I'm making the same amount of money with people who are sitting next to me with associates, masters, and bachelor's degrees. I'm literally making the same amount of money. So I'm like, something is not right. These people should be making like $50 an hour. Why are they here sitting next to me making, well, back then probably like $17, $18. So I realized at that time, it seems like college is a hustle. And I'm not feeling that, okay? And I also didn't know what I wanted to do at the time. Because initially I had, took some classes. I was going to be a nurse. And then it just became too much, and I ended up dropping out. And I said I don't want to go back into school and pay for anything until I was sure of what I wanted to do. So then I found out about trade programs. And so one of my coworkers was like, well, you're really good with computers. You're a low-key nerd. Why don't you just go get, IT certifications and try and get into the IT field? And that's what I did. So I went to like a technical school. I took my bonus money. I paid for the curriculum, and I was able to get my certification, A+ certification in IT, and then kind of went from there. And then when I got an IT job, I had that job pay for me to go back and get other certifications, right? And then, around that time, I also found YouTube and I started becoming a content creator. So that was kind of my way. So I don't owe anybody anything. I have no student loan debt. I really have no debt outside of like my mortgage. You know what I'm saying? So I went a different route, and honestly, I thank God I did. And even though people judged me at the time, like, oh, you don't have a 4-year degree, you don't have a bachelor's, or you're so smart, you should, be going to school, you should go for your bachelor's degree. Why are you wasting your time not going to college? You're a waste of potential. And it's like, yeah, no, I'm not interested in getting into a bunch of debt. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather just do my own thing and, live my life. I don't have to prove anything to anybody. And I thank God I went that route, because me and my friends have had conversations, and family members, like if you had it to do over, would you take the same route? Would you have went to a 4-year college? Would you have, try to climb the corporate ladder and get all these degrees only to not really get a return on your investment? And every last one of those people said no. Because to this day, these are people who graduated literally in the early 2000s. They are still paying back student loan debt. And the money is not money in. And I think the reason why a lot of people are upset, when you think about it, is the interest rate on these student loans. The interest rate is ridiculous. Somebody's going to school to be a medical professional, to take care of people, to help people, to save people, and then you're charging them $100,000, and $78,000 of that is interest? That is insane to me. People are tired of feeling that they've been taken advantage of, and that's why they're upset. So that's why with me as a parent, I took a different route with my kids. And again, to each its own. Y'all parent y'all's children how y'all want to. I'll parent mine how I feel they need to. But when my oldest son graduated high school, he wasn't really sure what he wanted to do. So I told him, you need to go to a junior college, see if you like it. I'll help pay for a semester. But I'm not going to send you where you're at you know, your mentality, how you feel, you're so unsure, I'm not sending you to a 4-year college. Because what happens is a lot of parents push their kids to go to certain colleges because of their own fucking ego. They want to go on social media and be like, oh, my son is going to the U of M. My son is going to the University of North Carolina. My child is going to this HBCU. My child is going to this college. But the parent knows deep down inside that that child is not prepared. They weren't a good studier. They're easily distracted. And then they put their child in a situation where they're taking out student loans, you know what I'm saying? So that way it looks good for the family. To say, well, my child is at this college and he's going to be an engineer. And then within a year, that child ends up dropping out of college or they can't make it. And guess what? Even if you drop out of college, even if you don't get that degree, you still owe that loan. So a lot of people are doing their children a disservice by putting them in situations that they don't need to be in. So when my oldest son went to junior college, he didn't like it, couldn't handle it, you know, he wanted to work. And I said, okay, cool. I can respect that. Because what you're not going to do, I work hard for my money, okay? What you're not going to do is burn up my money, you know, taking these classes, you're unsure, you don't want to be there, cool. Go on ahead, drop out, go get you a 9-to-5 job because you will be working. Nobody's going to be in my house not going to school, not working. And then figure out what you want to do. Life is not a race. We all have our own path. And if you're in competition with people, you're basically stealing your own joy. Comparison is a thief. And I told them you have to do what works for you in your life. You have one life to live. I can't live it for you. And then once he realized what he wanted to do, you know what I'm saying, he wanted to work with kids. He's now working in the school system, doing a good job. And now they want to help pay for him to go to school and get his teaching degree. You know, so he's kind of going about his life a different route. He's working, making decent money. The school's willing to help him pay for certifications and whatever else he needs. Cool. Go that route. Do what works for you. Now, when my youngest graduated high school last year, he's a really good student. You know what I'm saying? Straight A's and B's. And so he was getting all types of college offers. You know what I'm saying? From all types of colleges. Plus, he played sports. And so I was really excited because I'm like, yo, you could be one of the first ones out of our little family to go to college. You know, he was getting, you know, different scholarship offers and stuff like that. And I was like, you can, you know, be in a dorm and have the full college experience that I didn't get to have. So I'm almost kind of vicariously trying to live through all these letters that were coming for him. And he told me flat out, Mom, I'm not interested in going to a 4-year. Now, I'm not going to lie. At first, I was kind of disappointed. Like, well, why not? You know, like, these colleges want you, and you can, you know, get the college experience that I couldn't have because I was a teen mom. And he was like, I don't want to go to college, get into a bunch of debt. You know, I might get a partial scholarship, but I might still have to take out money. And he was like, and I just feel like I don't want to go and waste time sitting in college for the next 4 years to get a degree that may not even give me a job when I get out. I said, well, what do you want to do? He said, I want to go to trade school. I said, well, Dad, look at you low-key sipping tea and watching my videos, because you guys know I've always encouraged people, if you weren't sure what you want to do and you feel like a 4-year college is not for you or a degree is not for you, I've always encouraged people to look into trade school, look into junior college. You know, you can do all types of things in the trade, you know, from construction to welding, you know, even getting a certificate being an esthetician. You don't have to sit in school for 4 years to make money. And so at that point, I said, well, cool. If that's what you want to do, I'm going to help you figure out a program that you can get into. So we have to narrow it down. The trades are a wide range. What do you want to do? Do you want to be a plumber, electrician? He wanted to do carpentry because he's always like building and putting things together. So I was able to find him a carpentry program that accepted him to go to trade school. They cut him a nice little check, you know, every few weeks. You know, they gave him all types of like different perks and stuff to encourage these young men to go to trade school because they need more men in the trades. He was the youngest in his class. And one thing that a lot of people in class told him is that I wish I would have did this when I was younger. You know, now I'm in my 30s, I'm in my 40s. Most of his classmates are my age and his father's age, you know, because they're having to, you know, they made a few mistakes early on in life, or they're having to switch career fields and stuff. And they would tell them the fact that you're starting this now at 18, 19, that's a blessing that you know what you want to be, because the younger you start, the earlier you start, by the time you get to be our age, you'll be set. You know, you'll have your dream home, car, and all that stuff. You'll be set. You'll be making good money. You know, the younger you start, the better. And he graduated from trade school this past Wednesday. They'll be mailing his certificate, and guess what? He is not working. He's building townhomes. He's doing framing. So he already got a job. He's doing framing right now for a national builder. They taught him interviewing skills. A bunch of recruiters from different jobs came in to talk to the young men, to interview them, and he was able to get a job out of this. And he was in trade school for around, I think it was like a 7 to 8 month program, and he's done now. You know, so again, there's different ways to get money. There's different avenues to go through life. So don't ever let somebody shame you or make you feel like you have to go to school to get a 4-year degree, especially if that degree does not make sense. I will always say that. If you're going to go to school, because we do need people who have degrees, and we need to stop this whole, you know, demonizing people who went to school. I'm really noticing that a lot. It's like people are mad at folks who have an education, and that is so weird to me. You know, because we need people who go to school. We need people to have education. We need teachers. We need doctors. We need nurses. We need lawyers. You know, so if you're going to go into those type of fields, that makes sense. The medical field is always going to need people. So definitely go into nursing. Go into, you know, being a doctor. Even technology. We're always going to need people who understand IT, who understand AI. So those are all good fields to go into. But don't waste your time getting a 4-year degree in the arts. There's no money to be made in the arts. I'm sorry. It makes no sense to go to school to be an actor when literally all they're doing is pulling influencers and celebrities and putting them into movie roles. So you have to be really smart with your decision on what you're going to do with your life. Because right now a lot of people are really angry, they're bitter, they're upset because they have not received a return on their investment. How do you have a 4-year degree and you've never worked in your degree field? That is disheartening for a lot of people. So yes, a lot of people are upset. A lot of people are jaded. I'm not saying that these folks don't owe the money and that they shouldn't pay it back, but I'm not going to judge people harshly. Because when I look at the system, it pisses me the fuck off. And I'm sorry to get mad and cuss, but it makes me mad. Because think about this. If my son, at the age that he is, my youngest, if he would have went into the bank and said, hey, can you give me a $100,000 loan? I want to buy my own home. I want to buy a home next to my mom. I need a $100,000 loan to buy a home. They would laugh him out the bank. They would not give a young person a $100,000 loan to buy a home. So that way they can build equity and have a home and not have to worry about paying rent. So you guys won't give young people big loans to buy homes, to even get cars in certain instances, but you have no problem giving a 16, 17, 18-year-old child a loan for between $50 to $200,000 to $300,000 for education, and they may not even finish that education. They may not even finish school. I think for me, that's what pisses me off is the games that are being played. The fact that they're playing, like this is all just one big hustle. And when you wake up and you understand the system and the games that are being played, I get people's anger. So I'm not talking from a place of privilege. I'm just talking from a place of I made different decisions in my life. It doesn't make me better or worse. That's just the decisions I made in life. I just never felt the need to go to a 4-year university and get a degree that I may or may not use. I went a different route. I went and got certifications, did some things in IT, and then, you know, I was blessed to become an influencer and a YouTuber, and I don't take that lightly. You know what I'm saying? I don't take what I do lightly. I understand that this platform that I have is a blessing, and I'm thankful for it each and every day, and I'm thankful for each and every one of you guys for supporting my platform. But we also have to give each other grace. I don't think these people who are saying that they don't want to pay back their student loans, they're not bad people. They're not, you know, evil people. These are people who are at their wits' end. And we're living in a day and age where right now grocery prices are steadily going up. Rent is steadily going up. These tariffs, we're being told that, you know, we may be out of supplies in the stores in another 2 to 3 weeks if we don't figure out what's going on with these tariffs. So people have their minds elsewhere. People are trying to make sure they can still pay their rent. They can still pay their mortgage. They can still, you know, pay for their daycare, still feed their children. They're not thinking about another day. And while it's easy to dismiss it and say, well, you need to pay your loans back, you made the debt, and I get that. Because trust me, I was a bill collector for several years. I understand that people need to pay what they owe. But we also need to have an honest dialogue about the predatory nature of these loans. And why is it that they're willing to give teenagers hundreds and thousands of dollars to go to school, but they won't give them that same money to start their own business? They won't give them that same money to get a home loan. Ask yourself that. If a child says, I want $100,000 to invest in me and start my own clothing brand or start my own whatever, they're not going to get that loan. They're going to tell them they're too young. But they have no problem giving that same loan for education. It's a hustle and it's sad. So, you know, again, do what you feel the need to do, but understand that, you know, you don't want to start getting your wages garnished. You don't want things to start affecting your credit, because there's going to be consequences for whatever decision you make. But I'm not here to judge anybody, right or wrong. So I just wanted to kind of share that with you guys on, you know, me and how I feel about the student loan thing and what I've been through and how I kind of raise my kids. You know, sometimes it's better to get into a job and then have the job pay for you to go to school. You know, people don't tell kids that. Those are not being taught. Everything is get a student loan. And then if you get a job and that's the type of job that you like.
And I don't mean to cut off Lovely T off, but I want to say this. In most cases, trade school is actually the better option. Let me repeat it again. Trade school is actually the better option.
A lot of employers are willing to pay for you to go to school and further your education with, you know, reimbursement. I did that with my last employer, and there's nothing wrong with that. Again, life is not a marathon. Life is not a sprint. We all have our own paths to walk, and don't let anybody shame you because of the path that you choose to take. Don't let anybody shame you because you didn't get into a HBCU or into Harvard and you're going to a technical college. Do what works for you, because at the end of the day, somebody might have all these degrees, they might have went to some of the top universities, but guess what? They might also have a lot of student loan debt and they're at their wit's end. So tea sippers, let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. Leave a comment down below. You know, how do you guys feel about this situation concerning the student loans? How do you guys feel about, you know, the people who are saying that they don't want to pay them back? Do you feel like they're wrong for that? Or do you agree with why they don't want to pay them back? And then how do you feel about, you know, what's about to go into effect May 5th with the wage garnishments, the credit bureau reporting? So let's go ahead and get the discussion popping. I look forward to reading y'all's comments down below. Please make sure you guys hit this video with a like. Feel free to share this video. And most importantly, make sure you still subscribe to my channel. And I'll talk to y'all later. Deuces.